Well, hello everyone. Good morning and welcome. And I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe. And today is a very, very special day because we have a very special guest with us. And he is a dreamer, a believer, a doer, and he is a writer turned author. He has currently 5 books to his name. And he's also now one of the national bestsellers that we have in our country, and moreover he is also an environmentalist. He is also having a non-profit non-government organization to his name, and he also holds more than 2 decades of corporate experience. Plus now he is also sort of a person who loves uh, helping and elevating people's life by helping them achieve financial freedom and financial independence. So he's a kind of a multifaceted and multidimensional personality. So everyone, please welcome Mr. Manoj Arora. So he's with us. Welcome, Manoj sir.
Hey, thank you, Mridul. How are you doing?
Very well, sir. Very well. How are you doing?
Good, very nice. Thank
Nice
you
to
for
have you
thank
this
you
early
for
morning, 7 a.m. call.
inviting. Yeah, it's early morning, but not too early for me because I usually wake up earlier than this. So, thank you for inviting me to this session.
My pleasure, sir. All pleasure and honor is mine. So we'll quickly allow you to brief yourself for a couple of minutes, and then probably we can kick on with the agenda.
Yeah, I think you've already briefed me quite well, so I don't need to, revisit the entire thing. So I think that's fine. I think whatever you've introduced. So I think let's move ahead.
Okay, that's perfect. So, so Manoj sir, well, the premise of this very discussion is that I generally stay excited with a particular fact, and that's a sort of a quote, and that I've read recently, and it says that income may be for a limited time, but expenses are forever. And I'm sort of enthused with this particular phrase, and I look up to it because we all know that in our nation, in our country, where inflation keeps on increasing year after year,
Yeah,
and currently I think it's standing somewhere around 4% or something, and we do need to be responsible for our family, for our overall budget, family planning, plus for child's education, and we need to stay covered on the insurance side of it, and a lot of things that go in parallel to each other. So today we want to grill upon one of your favorite topics, which is how to stay financially free and financially independent and enjoy a life of our dreams with dignified and sufficient financial freedom at our tips.
yeah. So I think it's obviously a very favorite topic for me when you talk about financial freedom. But I think based on whatever discussions I have had with so many freedom seekers until today, the biggest question that everybody needs to answer is why do they need financial freedom? That's
Yeah.
very, very important. It's kind of a buzzword today, financial freedom. I want to be financially free. Everybody wants to be financially free, but the question is why? What do you want to really do after you are financially free? If that's not clear, then financial freedom will not serve the purpose that you're looking for. And there are a lot of people who are actually financially free in financial terms, but they still continue doing their jobs, whichever they're doing, or the businesses, whatever they're doing, because they're not yet clear what do they really want to do if they quit their job or a business or whatever they are into. So it's very, very important, and don't confuse financial freedom with something like retirement or anything where you just sit down, relax, and spend your time with your family and just do nothing else, because that doesn't work out in the long run. You definitely need a purpose. Okay, I mean, of course, you got to decide when to be with your family, when to be on your purpose of life. But unless you have that very clear with you, it usually financial freedom really doesn't serve anything. So the first thing which I always ask anybody who wants to come and join me in that coaching program for financial freedom, I usually ask is, why do you want to be financially free? What do you want to do actually with your life once you're financially free? So if that dream or if that purpose is not strong enough, then I usually don't. take it far enough, then I kind of leave it there. So that's very, very important, that what do we want to do with our lives, it starts from there.
Yeah. So it starts from why. What was your why, Manu sir, when you started?
There were actually too many whys I had. So one of which was, of course, there was a kind of a negative reason, and there were positive reasons for trying to achieve financial freedom. The negative was that I was not really enjoying whatever I was doing in my corporate life. Of course, I was earning pretty well, and I was having a good status in the society. All that was fine, but I wasn't really enjoying every day. I wasn't enjoying waking up on a Monday morning and going to office and doing a job which is a little stressful, and then coming back late in the night and keep repeating that day after day, year after year. I don't know for how many years, so probably 20 years I did like that. So that was one of the negative pulls that was trying to force me to think on I should be doing something different. I need to come out of this. This is not the life which I was looking for. So that was the negative part. The positive side, of course, I had a lot of reasons. One was, of course, that I wanted to be close to nature. So I wanted to plant trees. I wanted to be with nature, and that somehow that comes internally to you. um, Second, I want to spend a lot of time with my children. They were growing up. I have two daughters, and when they're growing up, uh, when once they reach college and beyond that, you have no idea of how long they're going to be staying with you. Most likely they will not be staying with you, and that's a fact, whether it's a girl or a boy. But it's quite likely that once children reach college, then that's it. I mean, your relationship doesn't end, but the kind of time that you can spend together with them ends there. They have their own friend circle, they have their own dreams, and you really want to let them fly with those dreams. So so those times when my daughters were young, I wanted to spend a lot of time with them, because that was the only time I thought I can spend with them. So therefore I needed that time back in my life. And of course my job wasn't going to give me the time. It was going to give me money, but not the time which I wanted. So that was another reason. And third, of course, I had a lot of other passions, like I wanted to write books and do a lot of other stuff. So these two three things which are pulling me, that I want my time back in life.
Yeah.
Enough of earning money. I mean, of course, you need money for financial security of your family, but how much do I need? Okay, if I can, somehow do a fair bit of calculation on how much do I need, and if I can accumulate that and invest it properly, then it should be done. That's all. I should not be working for money anymore. So I think those were the driving factors, which were pulling me towards financial freedom. And it's very important for anyone to understand deeply enough what is, pulling them towards financial freedom.
Yeah. So ultimately, understanding the why and holding
Yeah.
on to your passion. So those are something which are our driving forces.
Yep.
So if we were to explain or define financial freedom in a phrase or a sentence, so how would you define what exactly financial freedom is?
I would say it's the luxury of planning your day. That's what I wouldn't go too far in terms of what I would achieve in life, or don't go that far. Today morning when I wake up, I have to decide the agenda of my day. Okay, if my children need time for 3 hours, okay, 3 hours allotted. If I need to spend 1 hour planting trees or taking care of them, allotted. When do I want to do that? I decide. With whom I want to spend that time in the day, I decide. So just after this call, where I'll be getting ready and going to a cafe, and where I'm going to meet one of my close friends, you know so, and spending 1 hour with him. So that's how you control your day. And once you control your day, what is life ultimately? It's a collection of maybe 20, 40, 80,000 days. That's it. Okay, so once you control your day and you keep doing it day after day, and that's how you control your life. And so that's I think the biggest thing that financial freedom has given me is what do I do in the day, when do I do it, with whom I do it, how long I do it. Everything is in control to a very large extent, you know. So that's something which I was missing earlier, you know. I was not deciding earlier uh, how how my day is going to go, you know. I had a fixed time to reach office and do the job and then come back. So, you know, so that's the big thing, control on your life, you know. That's freedom, you know. That's what people are longing for, even though they may feel that they're looking for a lot of money and they're looking for doing things with that money. But no, actually people are, on the hindsight, if you see, people are really looking for how do I get better control on myself, on my day, on my people around me, you know. So that's what people are looking for. So I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that I got.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just that you have achieved financial freedom to a certain extent and now you're just relaxing on a rocking chair. Because it's not like that.
No,
So
no,
it
no.
goes, it goes beyond that.
So,
So
Mridul,
yeah,
I think that's another confusion people have is, okay, now that you're financially free, you must be relaxing. So let me tell you what relaxing to me is. So I used to work 12, 13 hours earlier when I was in my corporate job. Today I work 16 hours a day. But what do I work on is very important. When I say I work means I'm so busy that if my family doesn't need that time, then I am so occupied that I can tell you I'm short of time in that sense. But the things which I'm doing in that time are the things which I love doing. You know, that's how I'm spending time. Rather than spending time to earn money, I'm spending
yeah,
time to do the things which I love, and that gives you so much energy. Uh, that I mean, it's very difficult to, you know, explain it to you, the
yeah,
kind of energy and positivity, you know, that control over time gives you.
yeah,
So I wake up excited every morning. I go to bed with exciting plans for the next day. Now, these are the things, and when money is not involved, you know, when you're doing things just for the love of doing it, it's a very, very different way of leading your day and leading your life.
yeah. So it's not just what you really need to do, but what you
Yeah,
really want to do.
true, true.
So the wants overtake the needs. Okay, so so I think what my next question here would be, what do you think how relevant financial freedom is in 21st century, and what was its relevance if we say go 50 years ago, and how the things have changed and have shaped up? Was it relevant then as well, or is it more relevant now?
Well, 50 years ago, I really don't know. But if I look at my parents, uh, I think they did so well in terms of managing us and in terms of helping us become what we are today. But I don't think it was really possible for them to think about financial freedom in those times. Um, Reason is because life every day was a struggle, you know, achieving. So today we are in very high earning jobs, you know, and if you really are disciplined and if we can control our expenses, we can save a lot of money. That wasn't the situation 50 years back or even 30 years back, I would say. But things have changed a lot with globalization and all, and big corporates coming in. We are earning a lot, and if we really are clear on what we want to do in life, we can be financially free with the savings that we do and the investments that we do. Investments have become much easier to do today than what it was probably 30 years back or 40 years back. And I remember my parents once, they used to, I mean, they bought some stocks and it was all, you know, a certificate that they used to have with them. It wasn't easy to buy a stock, and you had to apply it on a piece of paper, and
Yeah.
you'll get a piece of paper. It's not easy to sell. I spent a month, you know, selling that stock that my dad had. So, you know, it wasn't easy, those things. Today, it's all on a mouse click, you know, everything. You can invest, redeem, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So things have become much easier, and I would say conditions are much more favorable if you really want to achieve financial freedom.
Yeah.
Those days of financial struggle are over to for a lot of people, I would say.
Yeah.
If somebody is really serious about it, has a strong reason, it's possible, and I don't think it was really so easily possible 30 years back.
Yeah. So for people who are beginners, so like beginners like me, right? And there are a lot many out here. So if we want to ask that there's a choice between start pursuing your financial dream, financial freedom journey, versus you also have a passion in hand. You also have to work on certain regular duties for the day. So how to maintain that right balance? So one way is to get relieved of your regular duties and start pursuing your financial, or maybe start investing more into your passion, so that you work more on passion side of it. Or maybe first focus on achieving financial freedom, and then after a certain level of time, when you achieve that financial freedom goal, then is the right time to pursue the passions that you have for yourself. So how to maintain that balance?
Well, I don't think it's black and white that okay, first I'm going to achieve financial freedom and then I'm going to work on my passion, and neither it's the other way that I'm going to leave my job and start working on my passion. So it doesn't work in a black and white fashion. How it typically works the best, which I have experienced, is of course you have to work on your job full time until you are very close to financial freedom, because you need money, right? You need money not only to take care of your family but also to invest if you really want to get financially free. So you got to keep continue working on your job anyways.
Yeah,
But you got to stretch out a little bit and also start working on your financial freedom journey. Maybe spending half an hour a day or 1 hour a day, and it's not. It doesn't need more than that. All it needs is discipline and commitment. And parallelly work on your passion area also, probably 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week or whatever you can time you can devote. Why I'm saying that you have to be parallelly working on both your passion and your financial freedom is because it's your passion which will pull you through this journey. Not everybody who starts this financial freedom journey gets financially free, and the reason is the lack of passion. And why I say that is because the journey is not tough. The freedom journey is not tough or complicated, but it demands certain level of discipline, it demands certain level of commitment, and that doesn't come easily. That comes only to people who are ready to make small sacrifices in life, and those sacrifices you will make only if you have a strong reason to make those sacrifices. I mean, if I ask you to save, let's say you're able to save 20% of your salary, for example, save and invest. But it's very easy for you to save 20%. But if I ask you to save 20% month on month, every month, for 10 years without a break, now that's where it becomes challenging.
yeah,
And the challenge you'll be able to overcome only if you have a very, very strong reason why you're doing it. Otherwise, you'll say, okay, I got enough money, which is, I mean, you've saved for 5 years, you got enough money, and then you'll get attracted to that latest gadget or latest car or whatever, dreams you had, and you will just, throw away the compounding magic. So it has to be a very focused effort. Only 3 to 4% people of the people who start the journey are really able to complete it. Because that drive, that energy, that passion is lacking somewhere.
yeah,
Without that, it's not going to happen.
yeah. So it starts with a vision and a purpose, as you said.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what are those different paths to achieve that financial freedom? So there may be, several different ways. What do you think is the most preferred one?
Well, ways, if you ask me, everybody is different and every family is different. So everybody's target in terms of financial figures would be very, very different. So usually it's a seven-step process, which is highlighted in the book also, the first book which I wrote, From the Rat Race to Financial Freedom. Plus, if anybody wants to really go through that process and through those steps, anybody can come and log into the website that we have, and they can just register themselves. It's all free. You can just log in and start working on that process. In fact, today I am coaching close to 200 people on financial freedom. When I say coaching, means it's 101, 101, I would say, hand holding of a person from their current situation to the time when they actually reach financial freedom. So, which may take 10 years, 15 years, 5 years. We don't know that. That's very different for every person. But I keep hand holding them month on month. We keep tracking their journey, and till they actually reach that goal, I work with them. So that's one of my passion areas where I want to get more and more people financially free, and with a very selfish reason that once they are financially free, they would go on to do something good for the society, because I had an inclination for, let's say, planting trees and doing something for the society, but different people have different ways of giving back to the society. So if they are, whatever way they want to adopt is fine with me, but they have to have a very strong reason for this financial freedom thing. So I think that's the key. You got to go through the process, and then only you'll be able to understand. Okay, you need 2 crores, 3 crores, 5 crores, 1 crore. Everybody is different. Everybody's expense management is different. Everybody's income level is different. Everybody's risk taking capacity is different. So with all those differences, it's a very customized plan that we create, and then we start tracking that plan until freedom is achieved.
Okay. So basically, we are talking about the equity side of it, and that's where we develop, and that's where we grow our money and compound it
Well,
further.
uh, actually, investing is always confused with equity, but it's not like that. There are a lot of people in my program who are not investing in equity at all, and they're still very close to. They've already reached very close to financial freedom. So equity is not
Okay.
mandatory for you to be, achieving financial freedom. It all depends on how much you are spending every month. It's a
Yeah.
very vital factor in our journey. I think one of the first statements you made was about income and expenses. So that a lot of people miss this point. It's people, we have too focused on our incomes because that's a status symbol, because that's what gives us money. So all that is fine and it's important, I agree, because without income you can't save. But what you forget is income is not going to last forever. It's going to stop after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's going to stop. What is going to last forever is your expenses.
Yeah.
Okay, and we fail to control our expenses, and that's where we are not able to achieve financial freedom. We are not focused on managing expenses. We're just focused on increasing income. And the fact is, the more is your income, the more will be your expenses. Expenses will catch up with your income sooner or later, unless you're really focused on managing your expenses, unless you have a target for the month where you're saving. Your expenses just going to catch up. So it's not going to happen automatically. If you just keep increasing your income, you're not going to achieve anything. Okay, I have
Oh,
seen so many people with incomes like 10 lakhs a month or 15 lakhs a month. They are still struggling because their expenses have just come up to that level of income. Okay, so they may be leading a visibly good life in terms of the money they're spending. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're having a happier life or a satisfying life. And that's not going to last forever, remember that,
yeah.
because
So
income's
so
going to
what
stop.
what do you suggest? Is it savings first and expense later, or is it
Yeah,
carving out your
that's
expense first and then save later? And where does investment portion fit in between?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that goes without saying. That's one of the wealth management principles, that you got to invest first and then, save and invest first and then you got to spend. Of course, there are certain mandatory expenses which you cannot avoid, whether it's your utilities or children's school fees and things like that. But after that, after those mandatory expenses are, spent, what do you do with the remaining money? If you do not invest it immediately, why will you invest it immediately? You will invest it immediately only if you have a certain reason for doing it, only if you have a specific goal in that month, that I have to reach this amount, this corpus I need to reach, my net worth needs to go up by this much amount, then only you will go and invest. Otherwise, there's no strong reason for you to invest it. And if there's no strong reason for you to invest, it'll automatically get spent. Okay, so it's very vital, therefore, that you have an overall plan. Okay, I need to reach 3 crores, for example. Today I am at 1 crore. I need to bridge this gap of 2 crores. It's going to take me 20 months, 50 months, whatever. And so this month I'm going to save this much. Okay, so that kind of planning and then tracking on that plan, okay, you were supposed to save this much. How much did you actually save? And how much you've been saving month on month? So that kind of tracking, unless you're doing, it's not going to work out. So It's not difficult. It's not complex because we know you need to save a certain amount every month. That's it.
Yeah.
And invest it properly and just keep monitoring your savings. But then, it needs discipline, which is
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah. So just taking a very humble target, Manoj sir, say you mentioned a figure of 2 crores. So if someone has a target to achieve or hit that 2 crore figure, so how much ideally on a rough side should be the investment amount month on month, and how many years it's gonna take?
It's not possible to judge like that because it depends on how much you spend every month.
Hmm.
Okay. So, um, it's like today I'm at point A. Let's say I'm sitting in Delhi today. Okay. First thing I have to find out is where do I want to go? Okay. I want to go to Mumbai, for example. Okay. Now, finding out where you want to go or your end point is one of the biggest things in this entire planning activity. You know, Financial freedom planning activity because most people do not know how much money is enough for them.
Yeah.
So when I say 3 crores, you will still be confused whether 3 crores is good for you or not, whether it will really last your lifetime or not. Okay, so that's one of the activities that's done as a part of financial freedom planning in our program, where basically we try to find out with certain buffers that today you are at point A. Now let's find out where do you want to reach. Okay, so you want to reach to point B, which is 3 crores or 3.5 crores or whatever, depending on lot of factors, which includes your expenses, which includes your savings today, which includes what you're going to spend in future, not only your general monthly expenses, but let's say you have special expenses coming up like your children's marriages, their education, and all those things in future. So after we have taken care of all that, we are able to come up and find out a point B where we want to reach. So I'm in Delhi, I want to reach Mumbai. I'm clear on that. Now, the distance, whatever it is, it's the distance of from 1 crore to 3 crore, or Delhi to Mumbai. Okay. Now, how much time it's going to take for me to reach Delhi to Mumbai? Okay, that depends on my speed at which I travel. Okay,
Yeah.
and speed is defined by how much can I save every month.
Yeah.
Okay, and how much can I save every month will be defined by how much I earn and then how much I spend. Okay, so if I can increase my earning or if I can reduce my expenses or both, I can move faster.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I have, let's say, 1 crore today, then if I can get better returns on that 1 crore, I can again move faster. Okay, so we take all those criterias in
Yeah.
our planning and then decide the speed. So let's say, as per our decided speed, it's going to take you 5 years, for example, to reach from 1 crore to 3 crore. Okay, then we divide it into month by month targets. Okay, so it's 5 crores, 3 crores we need from in the next 5 years. Then how much I need to save this month? Okay, how much returns I should be getting from my existing investments this month? How much I should be saving, how much returns, and that's how we move along. Keep tracking it month on month, every month. And if we deviate, then we need to take certain actions and so on. So this
Yeah.
entire planning, tracking, keeps going until you reach a stage where you've reached
Yeah.
that point where you don't need any more income. Your returns are big enough, they have exceeded your income, and they can serve you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's gonna be a combination of your savings rate, expense rate, which eventually converts into speed and then time
Yeah,
horizon,
yeah.
and that's how it is. Okay, cool. So if I were to ask you one question, what's the value versus risk proposition here? So with investment, there comes an element of risk. So for beginners, right, they'll definitely want to save their hard-earned money. And as Warren Buffett always said, it's important to save the principal that you have. Okay, interest will keep on coming, so you at least don't lose the eggs that you have in the basket. So how to manage that risk factor here?
So again, so what we do is we do a risk profiling of every person, which is so every person's risk taking capacity as well as risk tolerance is very different. So somebody may be having a high capacity, which means that they don't have any loans, they have good assets with them, so they are more capable of taking risk. But then their mindset towards risk could be very low. Okay, the moment they invest in any volatile asset class like equity or gold or any volatile class, and if the market goes down, they overreact. Okay, so that's a very psychological side to managing risks. So it's not only how much capacity you have to take risk, it's also about what's your mindset towards this. So we do those calculations to find out the risk profile of a particular person. Based on that, that's one of the factors which decides how quickly you're going to get financially free, because that will decide your investing strategy, that will decide your returns from your portfolio, and therefore it will decide your speed at which you travel this journey. So it's very very different, but I would say risk is there everywhere. Even if you're holding money in your hand, it's risk. If you're putting it in a savings account, even banks are at risk today. If you're keeping it at your home, it's a risk. If you invest in equity, it's a risk. If you invest in fixed deposit, it's a risk. But the risk size of the risk may be different, and therefore the returns may be different. If depending on how much you're capable of taking risk, will accordingly create an investing strategy.
Hmm. Okay. So do you suggest that every person who wants to step onto this path of financial freedom, do they need a financial advisor, a financial consultant? Is how much important and imperative that is?
Well, I didn't have any financial consultant when I started on my journey. In fact, before I wrote any book, I was almost financially free that time. So I had already started my journey. I had a very strong reason, but I didn't have any advisor with me. So I did my mistakes. So I lost money, and I learned from that. So if you're ready to do a bit of experimentation, if you have a very strong reason, um, then you can do it even without an advisor. But then of course you will, and there'll be times when you will be losing money, and you will be investing it wrong, and so on and so forth. That'll happen without an
Yeah,
advisor. That's going to happen. And only the reason why you would survive in such situations and not quit is your dream. Okay, so that'll help you survive. So that helped me survive. But if you really want to do it fast, if you don't want to do a lot of mistakes, and you want to learn from somebody else's experience, then obviously an advisor is helpful.
yeah,
So somebody else, when I say I would go, if you're really looking for freedom, then go with an advisor who is already financially free. There's no point going to an advisor who is charging you money. So one of the biggest things in my program is it's a non-profit program. So we really do not charge, because I don't need to earn money, so I do it more for my passion. um, and the only minimum charge is just the running expenses, which is the server expenses and other stuff which we do online tracking and all. Otherwise there are no charges.
okay, that's really wonderful to
Yeah.
know, and then quite generous as well.
No. See, again, the point is, how long will we keep? See, the moment I start charging it, then it becomes another race I am in. I don't want to get into another race after having spent 20 years in a corporate rat race. I don't want to get into another. So, as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm doing it. Probably if I start enjoying some other things in life, then I may stop doing it. So I'm in it as long as my passion, my calling is there, and as many people as I can help and they can get free and do something for the society, nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah. So the overall take is yes, risk is there, which is okay, and everything comes with a risk. But important is to take those risks as challenges, because when we overcome those challenges, that's where we find meaning and we create meaning for our life. So I think very fine, very wonderful conversation, Manoj sir. Any final closing words from your side?
Well, I would say in terms of financial freedom, when I started planning about it initially, I hadn't met anyone who was financially free. Uh, Nobody. I didn't have any financial degree, by the way. I still don't have any financial degree because I don't believe in the money rules that taught in the curriculum and all. So while I was doing this journey, I wasn't. I mean, while I was sure because I had my strong dreams and all, but people around me were not very sure of whether I'll be able to achieve it. When I achieved it, when I actually quit my job in 2015 or 16 probably, uh, people were shocked. And in fact, there were a lot of people close to my family who didn't appreciate my decision to quit a well-paying job when you have small children who are still their education is still pending, and there's nobody else who was earning money in my family, so I was the only money earner. So and not a lot of people appreciated that point, because even I mean in India today's culture, in our society, not many people really appreciate this. It's not really acceptable so easily. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then I think after I quit, um, first few months were tough trying to convince people, but after that, it's been one of the most beautiful phase of my life. So, last 4 5 years have been touched wood, the best years of my life so far.
Yeah, that's so wonderful to
So
hear
go
that.
for it. So that's the only message I have is go for it. It's worth all the discipline, faith, and commitment that you will give. It's worth all that effort that you'll put in.
Yeah. And finally, you're writing your sixth book
Yeah,
right
of course.
now.
Yeah, yeah. And sixth book is actually based on my experiences, based on my interaction with so many freedom seekers across the world. I interact with one or two people every day. Okay, so they have their own mistakes. They have their own way of handling money. So whatever my learnings are from those people, I'm just jotting down those mistakes people do in their managing their money, so that not mistakes are not repeated and people can learn from it and implement it in their lives. So that's the upcoming book.
Yeah, wonderful. So we'll look forward to that sixth book, and we'll definitely look forward to a lot of learnings from that particular book. So thank you so much, Manoj sir. It's been a pleasure as well as honor to have you with us on this episode. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
And as I always say to my viewers, eat right, sleep tight, stay focused, stay motivated, and stay in action. And this time I'll also say that stay invested.
Correct.
Yeah.
Great talking to you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Manoj sir.
Bye. Take care.
You too.